Hello?
We're seeing bleeding from the eyes.
I'm losing my mind.
The story starts 42 days ago. Aiden wakes up, and a woman he met at a club the night before says goodbye and leaves his house. After she leaves, Aiden washes his face, trying to start his day by turning on the television. Unexpectedly, he finds a national emergency alert broadcasting on the TV. At the same time, he hears the loud sound of sirens from outside. This alarms him, and despite his fear, he goes to his balcony to see what's happening. Outside, he witnesses chaos and destruction. People are in panic, running and screaming. Amidst this turmoil, he notices a woman being left behind in the crowd. Shockingly, several individuals attack her aggressively, as if they were wild animals. After seeing that, Aiden gets terrified, and then he sees an unfamiliar man rushing into his living room. This man introduces himself as Brandon, claiming to be Aiden's neighbor from the adjacent apartment. Aiden, desperate for answers, asks Brandon about the situation outside. Brandon explains that while he was returning from his morning run, he encountered a mob of people behaving violently and attacking others without any apparent reason. Brandon tells Aiden that he was bitten by one of the attackers, which led him to seek refuge in Aiden's apartment. After checking his wound in the bathroom, Aiden, feeling uneasy, grabs a knife for protection and turns his attention back to the TV to understand the chaos unfolding outside. The news reports reveal a sudden and terrifying change in the world due to a virus outbreak. This virus causes people's eyes to turn red, makes them scream uncontrollably, and eventually, they lose control over themselves, attacking and biting others. Those who are bitten become infected and turn into what is described as zombies. Upon learning this, Aiden informs Brandon, who has just returned from the bathroom, about the dangerous nature of the virus and how those bitten turn into zombies. Showing the knife to Brandon, Aiden insists that he leave the apartment. Brandon tries to assure Aiden that he's unharmed, but it's clear the virus is already affecting him. Reluctantly, Brandon leaves the apartment, only to be attacked by more zombies outside. A horrifying scene Aiden witnesses through the keyhole. Now, Aiden decides to lock himself in, listening to the only advice given on TV. Stay indoors and isolate oneself to avoid the virus. Feeling scared and alone, Aiden starts drinking alcohol to cope with the fear. He notices that his phone has no signal, cutting him off from the outside world even further. During this time, he also discovers messages from his father that were sent that morning. Aiden couldn't check the messages from his dad before. When he finally reads them, he learns something heartbreaking. At first, his dad talks about meeting up that morning, but then the messages get serious. His dad says they're not safe anymore and tells Aiden to take care of his sister and himself. Aiden tries calling them but gets no answer. He starts to think his parents might have gotten caught by the zombie virus. It's a tough blow, but Aiden decides to follow his parents' advice and stay alive. He marks the first day of his survival on the wall with a marker. 6 long days go by with Aiden stuck all alone. To stay safe, he freezes his door shut so nothing can get in. He hears on TV that the water might get cut off soon because of the virus. That news hits hard. To deal with the loneliness, Aiden starts recording videos at night to talk about how he feels. 2 weeks pass, and things just get worse. His food and supplies start to run out, and he knows he'll have to leave soon. But the thought of facing those zombies outside gives him panic attacks. Then, things take a scary turn when a zombie breaks into his apartment through the bathroom vent. Aiden fights it off with a baseball bat and seals the vent tight. After a whole month indoors, Aiden decides he can't hide forever. But as soon as he steps outside, he's swarmed by zombies. He barely makes it back inside, blocking the door with his fridge. Days drag on, and the power in the city dies out. Aiden feels completely hopeless. He thinks about giving up, just like at the beginning of the story. But then, he spots a girl on a nearby balcony. Seeing her gives him a spark of hope. He wants to talk to her, but his laptop's dead, and there's no way to charge it. So, he starts sending messages with bits of paper. Her name's Eva, and she's stuck in her apartment too. Talking to her makes Aiden feel less alone. Eva tells Aiden she's out of water, so he promises to help. When it finally rains, Aiden collects rainwater for them both. It's the first time he's had a proper bath in a month. As they keep talking, Aiden figures out a plan to get water to Eva using a rope, but his kindness attracts zombies, and they start coming for him. Aiden tries to help Eva, but things get worse when zombies try to break into his place too. He fights them off with his bat, knocking one down from the balcony. With his food all gone, Aiden remembers he has a key to Brandon's place. Since Brandon got killed on day 1 of the outbreak, Aiden figures he might find some food there. He heads over to Brandon's apartment, but he has to dodge zombies along the way. Somehow, he manages to slip past them and gets inside Brandon's place. It's a mess, and there's a dead woman in one of the rooms. In the kitchen, Aiden finds just a little bit of food, but he spots Brandon's climbing gear, thinking it might come in handy. While he's looking around, a zombie sneaks in and attacks him. Aiden fights it off and heads back to his own place. That's when he finds 2 walkie-talkies among Brandon's stuff. He's pumped because now he can talk to Eva directly. He takes a risk, goes downstairs, and tosses one of the walkie-talkies onto Eva's balcony. The next morning, they chat using the walkie-talkies, which makes them both super happy since they've been all alone for months. Aiden goes on a hunt for more supplies and crawls through the bathroom vent into another apartment. At first, it looks empty, so he starts gathering food. But then he realizes the door's blocked from the inside, meaning someone's in there. Turns out, it's an old guy named Edward. They make sure neither of them's a zombie, and Edward shares some food and booze, saying he doesn't need much cause he's old. Aiden's grateful, but doesn't see the danger coming. Out of the blue, Edward jumps him and knocks him out. When Aiden wakes up, he's tied up and facing Edward's zombified wife. Edward spills the beans that he's been feeding his wife people to keep her alive, starting with their dog. Just as Edward's about to feed Aiden to his wife, something distracts him, giving Aiden a chance to break free. Aiden shoves Edward toward his wife, flipping the script on him. As Edward's wife goes for him, Aiden grabs whatever he can find in the kitchen. In the chaos, he gets a message from Eva, saying she's in trouble. He rushes back to his apartment and finds out zombies have busted into Eva's place. She's stuck on her balcony with the zombies closing in. Aiden's dead set on saving her, and by luck, he comes across a security guard's gun. Using the gun, he starts shooting at the zombies closing in. The noise attracts even more of them, making things even scarier. Aiden fights his way through and jumps onto Eva's balcony. With zombies on their tails, he hops down to a lower balcony and cuts the rope they used to climb up. He tells Eva to follow him down. Luckily, this place hasn't been overrun by zombies yet, so they catch a breather. They finally meet face to face, but they're not out of danger yet. They still have to get out of the building and back to Aiden's place. As they dash through the building, zombies are coming at them from all directions. But just when things look grim, Eva steps in and saves Aiden. Together, they dodge the zombies and make it back to Aiden's building. After a close call, they finally reach his apartment. But Aiden's covered in blood. He thinks he's been bitten and is about to turn into a zombie. He's ready to sacrifice himself to protect Eva. She begs him not to, saying it's not worth it to save her if it means he'll be gone. Aiden gets ready to jump, but when he checks himself, he sees there are no bite marks. The blood isn't his. It's from the zombies he fought off. They both breathe a sigh of relief. They secure the door, grateful to have each other. With a glimmer of hope, the story comes to an end. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. It really means a lot to us, small channels.